So in today's video, we are talking about 30 different Make.com use cases that you can apply to your life every single day to save time and earn more money. Now, I'm sure you're gonna see a lot of blueprints in here that you want to download, and they're all gonna be for free down below in the description, as well as step-by-step tutorials showing you exactly how to build these out. Now, we're gonna be covering a lot of different use cases here in the following categories. Up first, we have general productivity, then we're gonna move into career and freelancing, sales, marketing, social media, recruitment, customer service, and then miscellaneous. With that being said, let's get into the first one in general productivity, which is this Gmail inbox manager that will literally run your entire email. So when emails come in to your Gmail inbox over here, the first thing we're going to use is artificial intelligence to categorize those emails into the correct labels or categories. So for instance, we can categorize them as promotional emails, social emails, updates, or we can create our own labels, like for example, school over here, or accounting, or sales, or whatever the case may be, but we can also act on those individual labels. So let's say, for instance, we have sales emails coming through. We could automatically use artificial intelligence to draft replies to those people. And if, for example, if you're like me and you absolutely hate getting promotional emails on your birthday saying, hey, do you want to spend $50 on something you probably don't need? You can go ahead and mark those as red so you don't even see them coming in. Or if you have a Facebook notification saying it was Bob's birthday like 14 days ago, you probably don't care that much because you haven't talked to him in 10 years, you can go ahead and mark that as red as well as a whole suite of other things you can do. Super powerful stuff. The next automation that I'm going to be talking about has everything to do with Google Sheets. And this is my favorite automation, and it's one of the most popular ones out there, where you can supercharge your Google Sheets and turn them into like a miniature web application where they can access tens of thousands of applications. Let me break this down for you so it's super clear. This is the exact content pipeline that I have to manage all of my social media across all of my different channels. Now take, for example, this status over here, okay? I have different stages that my content goes through, from idea to scheduled to filmed, edited, published. Anytime I click any of these boxes here, I can send data to Make.com and trigger this workflow. And then I have scenarios for when I schedule something, for when I publish something, for when I want to edit something, and so on and so forth. So for example, if I want to go ahead and choose edit over here, okay, what I could do is I could send notifications via Slack to my team being like, hey, we need you to go ahead and edit something. Or if I want to publish something, I could go ahead and automatically upload it to YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and so on and so forth. Now, the next workflow is a carbon copy, but instead of Google Sheets, we can do the same thing in Airtable. So for instance, we can have a database in Airtable where, of course, we can go ahead and do the same thing. We could, for instance, check a box over here and send off an email in Airtable right over here. So when we check off the box, the workflow starts, send off the email, or we could go ahead and we could choose, for us to publish a video, and then that goes ahead and uploads it straight onto YouTube right over here. Now, moving past this, the next workflow, which is probably the most popular workflow that I have people ask me to build out for them in my AI automation agency, is intelligent document processing. That is just a mouthful, like a really fancy way of saying, hey, we got PDFs and we got images and we want to extract data from these documents. So it's a two-step process. First, we convert an image to text or a PDF to text, okay? And then we extract the right information so that we can do things like automatically add things to Google Sheets in a structured way. And when I mean structured way, I mean like with this receipt, we can say, we want to pull out every line item step by step by step and add each individual line item to this Google Sheet, and we can do that. So for example, the second one, knitwear, $19.99, we can see knitwear, $19.99. And so that's essentially how this workflow works. We have documents uploaded to Google Drive or through Gmail or through many different other ways to start this workflow. We have a solution to extract text from PDFs or text from images, and then we use artificial intelligence to strip out all the important information to us. Now, when I say important information, that's subjective to you. Maybe you want line items, maybe you want the company name. You can choose whatever it is you want it to pull out, and it will go to work for you. And then you can dump that into a Google spreadsheet over here. The next example is creating AI agents within Make.com. And so with AI agents down here, we can get them to do a whole suite of things. But for example, I could send a message to myself through Telegram, receive that in this particular workflow, hit the AI agent and give it access to my calendar to schedule coffee, for example, with Jim for tomorrow at 3 p.m. I'm going to zoom in there because my face was conveniently blocking it. But that's the kind of stuff that we can do. We can give it access to our calendar to manage, give it access to our Gmail to manage, give it access to whatever tools we want to give it access to. You can think about it like a virtual employee that you train at one time, you show it how to do it, and then it can do it every single time indefinitely moving forward in the future for you. The next example is generating a personal assistant. And so with this example, we are using the tool Slack. So we're communicating back and forth with this agent here. And for example, I could send a message being like, hey, please email Jim confirming the coffee that we just scheduled for today at 2 or 3 p.m. or whatever the case may be. And what we could do is automatically generate a draft inside Google, inside Gmail, just sending off this to Jim here. And this could be like one of many different use cases. We could have it like handle automations inside of our calendar, or be able to do things like send off emails or extract text from documents, or whatever the case may be. You could have 1,000 different tasks in here that you wanted to do. You set it up one time and it can run indefinitely. Cool. Moving on from this, the next automation is web scraping, which is one of those things where you don't realize that how much you need it until you actually start using it. It's one of those things where I don't think I could possibly go back to living without it. And here's the reason why. Let's say you wanted to extract 10 or like 1,000 different businesses off of Google Maps. It would take you like 8 hours to do. This can be done in 10 seconds using web scraping through Make.com. But you might be thinking, Jono, why would I ever need to do this with Google Maps? Well, maybe you don't, but maybe you want to do this with TikTok or Instagram or Facebook or Amazon or one of the other 7,000 websites that you're probably already using on a daily basis. And so every major site is probably going to be listed here, and you can extract whatever data you want from these sites very, very quickly. And so, yeah, it can save you hours every single day, and it personally saves me hours every single day. And so with this particular workflow, we could even take it a step further, where all of a sudden we're extracting not only data from a listing like this, but then we're also web scraping from their website to pull out additional information like Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, Twitter, handles, and then we can even scrape those for additional information as well. Now, one of the most underutilized automations is automating project management systems. This is the exact project management system I have my team use inside ClickUp. And so every single time there's tasks that need to be done, I will list it here so that they actually go ahead and get the work done on time. Now, the reason why this is so practical is because if you don't have a project management system and you're kind of just winging it, things just get swept under the rug, which only leads to like a couple outcomes. You either don't get the task done, which then leads to bad customer reviews, which, you know, is just exactly what you want to avoid in the first place. And so what I've noticed through running multiple businesses is that essentially a lot of the project management systems that you'll set up for one client can be very similar to the next 500 or 1,000. And so if you're dealing with 500 clients a year, instead of manually going through doing every single one by hand, you could set up a system that automatically generates every single project management system for you automatically. No more doing this by yourself. The next workflow that I want to talk about is being able to connect in ChatGPT into Make.com. And so traditionally with ChatGPT, you'll message it and it will reply to you, which is great. But now what you can do is you can connect it into Make.com and give it access to over 1,000 different applications here. You can see I'm just scrolling down super quickly. My hands are kind of like hurting going down. I've only made it like literally a third of the way down. So you can supercharge this, give it access to whatever you want. In this instance, I could say, hey, here's an image receipt. I want you to pull out all the line items here and then be able to insert that into Google Sheets. And what happens is as soon as I send off this message, it would essentially start this workflow over here, send the data to Google Sheets, and then it would insert the data that I want. Again, just one of many use cases. Now, just before we continue on, I want to share that I have a community that offers people that are interested in Make.com and automation 2 transformations. The first is to create your own AI automation agency, where I help you find, close, and fulfill deals within 30 days or less. And the second transformation is for those of you who already have existing businesses. I give you the exact templates that allowed me to scale to 7 figures and automate 80% of my business so that you can copy, paste, and deploy it and get the same results in 2 months or less. And if you don't want to have to deal with
with setting these up yourself, you can also take a look at my AI automation agency, where I help people automate their entire business hands off. We just take care of all the work for you. Now, moving past this, the next section we're talking about here is career and freelancing, and this is one of my favorite things to automate. So if you guys are looking for online work, one of the best places to get started is Upwork. This is one of my favorite places to get started, and I've had tremendous success as a freelancer before on this platform. Now, the issue with Upwork is that you have to spend a disproportionate amount of time finding the right jobs to apply to. So a lot of time you just waste spending reading job descriptions you'd never want to apply to in the first place. And so what we can do with this workflow is we can scrape all the job listings off of Upwork, and then we can use artificial intelligence to rank every single one of those jobs so that we only focus our time on the jobs we're actually interested in applying to, and we ignore the others. So we can score these jobs on a 1 to 5 point basis, and if it's a 5 out of 5, then we go ahead and apply to it. If it's a 0 or a 1, then we just skip over it. We can also create customized proposals, which you can think about as cover letters that you submit to jobs on Upwork. And essentially you can use artificial intelligence to be able to custom tailor your experience to a particular job to help you close the deal and hopefully save a lot of time in the process of generating these customized proposals every single time. Now, similarly, the next automation is using freelancer.com, which is another alternative to Upwork that you can find freelancing jobs on. And so how this workflow works is essentially the same thing, except this time we're using an RSS feed to extract jobs from freelancer.com. So with freelancer.com, there's this standalone app here that somebody made. It's called rss-freelancer.versal.app. And you can just type in like a keyword that you want to find jobs with. So for example, SEO, and it's going to deliver back all of these jobs. And if we just pull up like a link here, this will actually take us to a particular job on freelancer.com. And so I'm going to copy this, paste it in, and here is the job that we have. Now we can automatically extract all of this data and then plug this into a Google Sheet. Once again, we can see the price, date, we could score this, we could do whatever we want, and even create an AI generated cover letter or response to then go ahead and reply with. Now, moving on past this, we're going to move into sales and talk about, in the first workflow here, a new lead system. And this is the most underutilized automation that I'm going to talk about in all 30 of these automations. And if you own a business, you should be setting this up like stat, like to date. And here is the reason why. Let's say you run a business, like for example, plumbing, or in my case, it's an automation agency, and people aren't interested in your services. The first thing they'll do is likely fill out a form over here and apply to learn more. Now, it's critical that you call within 60 seconds or less, because multiple surveys online have found that if you call within 60 seconds or less, you can close 4 times more sales. You're not working 4 times harder. You're not spending money to generate 4 times as many leads. All you're doing is you're just picking up the phone and making it a priority to call ASAP instead of the average wait time, which businesses typically take 48 hours to reply to. And so if you do that, you can make 4 times as many sales. And so this automation will help you by, when that form is submitted, it will just notify you to call them, or you can even automatically schedule the call immediately. Now, it can take it a step further where it can web scrape that person's website, pull out all the critical information on their domain. So if somebody applies with, a company email, let's say it's Jono in this case, at automatable.co, we could extract the URL, scrape the website, pull out all the information, and create a brief to send to you in like 30 seconds with all the information you need to know about that person, so that when you're talking to them, you're notified or you're informed on who you're talking to. Cool. The next automation that I want to talk about here is email scraping. And this again is super underutilized, but this is one of my favorites as well, because it's very similar to the last workflow in the sense that a lot of times you will find leads, or you will purchase leads on external third-party applications. So I purchase leads on a platform called weddingwire.ca. And so this is in the wedding space. This is for my previous business that I sold, but they are an archaic platform that doesn't connect into make.com. If we try and search for WeddingWire here, it doesn't pop up. But what they do instead is they email us the lead information. They provide us with the date of the wedding, the email, the phone number, the person's name, and we can use artificial intelligence the moment this email comes in. We can use AI to extract all of that information from that email and call that person in 10 seconds after receiving the email, meaning that we can increase our conversion rate once again by fourfold. Moving past this, a very simple automation that I absolutely love in terms of sales is just sending data into your CRM. It could be Salesforce, it could be HubSpot, it could be Pipedrive. In my case, it's Go High Level. And so I'll have leads from all different places: Google Ads, SEO, cold email, cold LinkedIn, or third-party applications like WeddingWire, Bark.com, or maybe even Thumbtack. And so the moment I get leads from any of these sources, instead of having all this fragmented data on 7 different platforms, I send it immediately and automatically into my CRM, so I have access to one single source of truth with all of the tens of thousands of leads that I have acquired. And so this is a really simple but really practical and powerful automation that every business owner should have in their business today moving forward. Okay, one final one in terms of sales, and one of my, again, just one powerful one, is this proposal, contract, and invoice generator. And so what happens is that anytime I jump on a sales call with somebody, I will enter in all of the information that I need about that person. I'll enter in the price, I'll enter in the date, I'll enter in the services that they're looking for, I'll enter in all the critical information that I need to be able to generate a proposal, contract, and invoice just like this. And you'll notice there's literally like 100 different variables automatically being added in here. There's sometimes math going on behind the scenes automatically. And so what happens is that back in the day, this used to take me 30 minutes every single time to generate one of these things. And keep in mind, this is like the most boring 30 minutes of your day. I've never met somebody in sales that's like, I just love admin work. I love, like, you know, filing invoices or whatever. And this just automates the whole process. So 30 minutes every single time. We had a team of 4 to 5 sales reps, which was the equivalent of saving 8 hours every single day on this automation, or the equivalent of hiring somebody full time, or the equivalent of $60,000 saved every single year on just a simple automation just like this. Cool. And so moving on past this, the next category we're talking about is marketing, and we're going to start with Pinterest. Now, what this workflow does is it automatically generates pins for us. Now, the coolest part about this is not only does it generate really cool images, but then it can also link to third-party sites like Amazon, for example. And so if anyone comes across your pin and is like, wow, that looks amazing, I'm really in the market for nice, beautiful, fluffy red pillows, they can go ahead and find the same product on Amazon. And because your affiliate tag is up here, if they go ahead and purchase that, well, that's attributed to you, and then you get a commission off of this. You could do this with many different platforms. You can even have this sent off to your own website where you're selling your own e-commerce products as well. And so essentially what this does is it actually, well, first of all, this workflow will do the keyword research for you. So for example, if you know that you're in home and decor, for example, and these are the general categories on Pinterest, but if you're selling stuff in home and decor and you want to go into pillows, for example, what you would do is just check off one box here, and then it would give you 50 keyword ideas, the top 50 keyword ideas for pillows. So throw pillows, and then cover pillows or whatever. I'm not a pillow expert, so don't quote me on that, but like it would pull in the most popular search keywords, and then it would be able to automatically pull in not only the popular keywords, but also really popular products on Amazon, so that you could go ahead and generate pins automatically that are linked to Amazon products in a matter of just a couple seconds, rather than you spending like 20 or 30 minutes doing this every single time individually and manually. The next automation here is generating AI podcasts. So for example, we could generate podcasts and we could publish it or disseminate it across all of your favorite social media sites, like for example, SoundCloud.
A significant move. The Justice Department has initiated a second antitrust trial against Google.
And so with something like this, we're also cloning our own voice using 11 Labs, so it sounds like you're talking as opposed to just some random person. Okay, the next workflow here is generating ebooks. And so this has a lot of different use cases to it, but let's say, for example, you wanted to use this as a lead magnet on your site. And what I would define a lead magnet as is you're exchanging a free product or service for somebody's email. And the reason why you want their email is because you can later use that email to remarket to them to hopefully convert that person from a lead into a paying customer. So you're giving them value up front for their email, and you can send over for a free ebook just like this. And keep in mind, the images here are not the best. Like, these are pretty bad images, but I also did create this workflow about a year ago, and the image generation using AI models has come so far. These images can be substantially better at this point in time. The next workflow is creating an AI chatbot in a platform called Manychat. And so with Manychat, what it does is you can integrate your chatbot into Facebook products like Facebook Messenger or Instagram messages, and you can have conversations with people using AI. So somebody could be conversing with your own AI chatbot. But the reason why this is a Make.com automation is because you can integrate Make.com into Manychat. So in real time, for example, you could create a Google slideshow and send it off to somebody, like right over here. Hey, I emailed you or I messaged you a proposal. Here's the link. And you could generate in real time a customizable proposal to that person using Google Slides with, for example, their full name and all the other information that you want to add in here, and then immediately send that over to somebody. Super freaking cool. Of course, you could add in your own calendar for them to book a call as well. Then the next workflow here in terms of marketing is being able to web scrape leads from various sources online, like for example, Yellow Pages, and then being able to cold email these people. Yellow Pages maybe is not like the ultimate place to find leads, but I just wanted to show the wide variety of sources that you can find leads from. So in Yellow Pages, for example, you can go through here and contact Drain Kings Plumbing. I'm not sure if these guys are plumbers or something else. That sounds like they're in the wrong industry, but anyways, you could find all of these leads on here and then be able to automatically send them off emails. You could even attach in here a voice drop.
Hey Jono, it's Jono from Jono Marketing.
Okay, that was way too many Jonos at the same time, and it screwed up my name in all three instances, but I will forgive ChatGPT for its mistakes. And we could also attach a social media calendar here. Again, this is not perfect. You can see it's like it could be improved massively. It's just a base to start off of, but you could email these leads a social media calendar for them to post across Facebook, Instagram, TikTok for the next 30 days with not only the content, like not only the captions, but also the actual content itself. Now, the reason why this is important is because obviously when you reach out to somebody, if you just give incredible value upfront for free with no expectations in return, there's going to be a way higher probability that people will come back and be like, wow, this guy really helped me out. Like maybe it's a good idea to work with them. And the probability of that person converting is just higher in general. So this could be a great opportunity to be able to find leads. Now, the last one that I want to talk about in terms of marketing is generating blogs and posting that onto places like WordPress, for example, here. So this is an example blog that you could generate. You could generate the images using AI. You could style the whole thing using AI. You could also optimize this whole blog post for AI. But here is why this matters, because in my last business before I sold it, we were doing SEO and we got it up to 1,500 clicks, the website. So 1,500 clicks on Google every single day, which, as you could imagine, would generate dozens of leads every single month, which also increased our revenue by tens of thousands of dollars every single month just through a simple strategy just like this. And you can actually double dip on this. And not only can you create the blog posts, but then you can automatically post those on social media, which takes us into the next category, which is social media right here. So when we generate blog posts, we can then publish about them on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, whatever the case may be. And you don't just have to do this with blog posts, but this is just one example that worked really well for us. And so what we could do is, of course, create social media content. One of the, and this is a bit off tangent here, but one of the best platforms that's the easiest to create content for, I think, is LinkedIn, because you can create a post. Literally, this is just over a day ago. This is just hit 2 days ago, like 30 minutes ago. And I got 16,500 impressions, 34 reposts, 336 comments, and 199 likes on a post that took me almost no time to make, was literally generated using artificial intelligence. And the main value prop here, if you guys want to get a lot of views on LinkedIn, is having a call to action. You ask people to connect with you, comment a keyword down below, and then you DM them blueprints. If you do that, you will get a lot more engagement. I didn't want to go on a tangent, but I thought that was a huge value add. Hopefully you can be able to hopefully that helps you out. Then the next idea here, or the next automation that I want to talk about, is being able to find viral pieces of content online. And so imagine every day you wake up with a cup of coffee in your hand and you just have a list of the top 1% best social media ideas that you can create content about. Well, that's exactly what this workflow does. You can use this for TikTok, you can use this for Facebook, you can use this for Instagram or YouTube or whatever the case may be. And it will go to a platform for you and it will find the best videos, the ones with hundreds of thousands or millions of views that you could then go ahead and look at and find inspiration, understand what's working well for other people, where's the attention at, what are the things that people are interested in, and then you could go ahead and create your own content around that or your own style around that. The next automation that I want to share is the ability to create AI videos. Now, this particular automation is a bit old, but you can create videos like this for Instagram Reels.
The only way to do great work is to love what you do.
And sorry, I don't mean Reels there, but I mean Instagram stories. And so you could go ahead and publish stuff like that automatically, create it, publish it, all that kind of stuff. And there's so many other videos online on how you could go about automatically generating really higher quality AI videos than the one I just shared with you. This is just a bit older. The next automation that I want to share is in the next category, recruitment, which allows me to literally automate the vast majority of my recruitment process. So in my last business, we were getting thousands of people applying for jobs we posted on places like Indeed, and as soon as somebody applied right over here, we entered them automatically into this Google spreadsheet. And all of these check boxes here is actually us mapping out the life cycle stage of recruitment. So these are all the stages people go through. They'd first answer a couple questions, then we'd send them a test. If they're an SEO, we'd say, hey, show us how you'd optimize one page here. We want to test your skills or your proficiency. Then we'd schedule interviews. Then we might send over a contract if we want to hire them. And so we can just track the whole stage of somebody, but every single time we check this box, we were able to automate processes. So if we scheduled an interview, we'd send them over an email to book an interview. And when they booked the interview, that would be followed up by text messages and emails reminding them of the appointment. And so all of that kind of stuff can be fully automated. And we can also take it a step further with this next automation, and that will use artificial intelligence to look at people's resumes and be able to score it on your behalf and automatically accept or reject people. So the key here is in this AI node, which essentially allows you to rate people on a 1 to 5 or 1 to 10 point basis. You can put in anything you want. Here's just a couple examples. Give them 3 points if they have relevant experience in the field. Give them another point if they have a degree in the field. Give them another point if their spelling and grammar is great. Give them another point if they come from a reputable university, and so on and so forth. There's a million things that you can put in here, but you get the point that you could score people and be able to use artificial intelligence to scan resumes. This could save a lot of time if you're dealing with thousands of people. Now, the next automation is something called a RAG system, and this falls under customer service. RAG stands for Retrieval Augmented Generation, and you can think about it as an analogy where you hire an employee. This employee is trained on all of your standard operating procedures. They've been with the company for 20 years and they know exactly every single question that somebody could ask. And so when customers ask that person a question, they know the exact answer back. For example, somebody asks, what's your pricing? The person says it's $250 an hour. Very similarly, instead of having a person, you can have an AI chatbot that's trained on the history of your company. They're trained on every email, every text message, every standard operating procedure, every contract, every invoice. It web scrapes the whole website, gets all of the information. And so anytime somebody asks a question, for example, over here, before we proceed, can we know the price? It will know the exact price and send it back. Of course, the typical price is $100. I'll tell you that. Of course, it's not just trained on pricing, but it can be trained on any information you want. And so it will answer questions to customers based on the information you provide with, or in other words, the history of your company. Cool. And the next category we're talking about is miscellaneous. And the first automation we're going to be exploring together is print on demand. So in this workflow, we can automatically create print on demand designs and then add those to things like t-shirts, or we can add it to things like, I don't know, jeans or pants or whatever the case may be. Maybe not jeans, but pants or any type of apparel out there. And so we're using artificial intelligence to create these images. And there's multiple ways we could do this. We could have text to images, we could also have image to image. So you could find an image you like and then have like a very similar version of that, and even ask the AI to generate not only a similar version, but in a particular style as well. And so what this allows you to do is unlock the possibility of developing designs significantly faster, testing them out and seeing what works and what doesn't. Now, Printify can connect into Etsy, eBay, your Shopify store, whatever the case may be, and you can start selling it right away. Cool. The next automation here is generating AI clones. And so this is an example of what you could build.
Imagine taking a vacation while your business runs itself.
And so that is quite creepy to see cloning yourself, especially for the first time. And this was also generated a year ago, so just keep in mind the technology has improved substantially since then, but you can go ahead and create clones like this. And there's a lot of different use cases. One could be, of course, posting to social media. The rise of AI influencers is going to be a massive thing in the next coming 5 to 10 years. And also, you could also send this off as cold email outreach. You could send this, or you could use this as like internal documentation or frequently asked questions. Instead of text form, it could be video form of you talking about it. And so those are just a couple examples. Now, the last automation that I want to go over in this video is analytics. And so what we can do here is we can send data from like our CRM, for example, into a Google Sheet, and then have that Google Sheet data modeled inside a Looker Studio. So this is just sample data here, but if you're on YouTube, you could see like hours watched, views, video shares, average view duration. You could even model out your sales rep information. Like you could see all of your sales reps, how many leads they're claiming, how many contracts they're sending out, how many deposits they're collecting, what the revenue is, what the average deal size is. And so what you can do is you can have all the information you need, analytically speaking, to make informed decisions to move your company further ahead. Because if you don't have this data, you're just shooting in the dark trying to figure out what's the best approach to move forward. And so what's probably better is just to track data and know definitively what's working, so you can double and triple down on it, and what's not. So for example, maybe Google Ads works really well for you, maybe SEO doesn't, and maybe you spend more money on Google Ads because those leads will convert into sales more often than not. And so that's just one example of how you could use a system like this to collect better data and have better insight into your business. If you guys want to learn more use cases, I'd highly recommend taking a look at this video over here, where I go through 35 different NA-DEN use cases that you can use on a daily basis. And once again, if you guys are looking to maximize your learning and experience with NA-DEN, Make.com, and AI automation, I'd recommend taking a look at my school community, where there are 3 outcomes. First of all, you're going to learn all of these tools to help you save time and earn money. And then secondly, if you're looking to create a business around this kind of stuff, selling this to the thousands of people begging for these solutions on a daily basis, I'll help you find, close, and fulfill deals within 30 days or less. And also, if you have an existing business, the last transformation is teaching you guys how to automate your business. I'll give you the exact blueprints I use to scale to 7 figures and automate 80% of my business, so that you can copy, paste, and deploy them into your own existing business. If you guys found value in this, please make sure to hit that subscribe button and also like this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks guys so much, and have a lovely day. Bye-bye.